Hi, everybody. My name's Sean with Axiom Tutoring, and today I'm going to be your GCSE Maths tutor. This video is meant to follow on from the previous video about converting between fractions, decimals, and percentages, which is an incredibly important skill in the GCSE examinations. In this video, we're going to be doing exam-style questions to consolidate those concepts, and we're going to start with a pretty typical table where we have the fraction, decimal, and percentage. And each of these are equivalent. So we have to write a percentage that is equivalent to the decimal 0.6 and the fraction 3 over 5. If we think back to the intuitive way that we do this, where 0.5 is definitely a half, which is 50%, then we can say that 0.4 must be less than that. And don't worry about the fraction for now, but we can say that that's 40%. So that means that 0.6 is 60%. This is the intuitive way of doing it. If you want to convert directly from a decimal to a percentage, you may notice that you times by 100. 0.6 times 100 is 60. To convert 0.85 and 85% into a fraction, it's better to start with the percentage. The percentage is 85 out of 100. That is literally what a percentage is. And from there, we can simplify this fraction. We can divide the top and the bottom by 5, and we get 17 over 20. 85 divided by 5 is 17, and 100 divided by 5 is 20, and we put 17 over 20 here. 30% we know is 0.3, and 30% means 30 out of 100. Divide top and bottom by 10, and we get 3/10. The next question is, write down the fraction of this shape that is shaded and then give your answer in its simplest form. For questions like this one, you count the total equal compartments. So I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So our answer is going to be out of 8. Then we look at how many compartments are shaded, 4. So 4 out of 8 is shaded, and that simplifies to 1/2 of the shape. If there's 8 compartments and 4 of them are shaded, half of the shape is shaded no matter where those compartments are. Part B is similar, but I'm going to give you a super tip to do these kind of questions quickly. We're going to do it the long way first. We count the total number of compartments. That is 3 high and 4 across. 3 times 4. There's 12 compartments in total. How many of them are shaded? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 out of 12. Divide the top and the bottom by 4, and that's 1/3. But if instead we look at this whole shape as being made up of 4 of these identical compartments made up of 3 boxes, out of the 3 boxes, 1 is shaded. In the next one, out of 3 boxes, 1 is also shaded. In the next one, out of 3, 1. And in the last one, out of 3, 1. And when this is the case, we can just say that therefore 1/3 of the shape must be shaded. 1/3, and that's uniform throughout the shape. Samuel says that 25% is greater than 0.8, so this is a question about converting these to the same format and comparing them. These kind of questions, I notice a lot of students writing long paragraphs, and these are usually only 1-mark questions. You have to say whether he's correct or not, so a yes or no is enough. And then 1 sentence or some statement is enough to explain your answer. So let's convert 25% to a decimal. That's 0.25. And we can see that 0.25 is less than 0.8. 0.8 is actually 80%. And so is he correct? No. And you can say, because 25% is less than 80%. Even this alone would suffice. Part B, write 0.1 as a percentage. Well, we can go back to intuitively knowing that 0.5 is 50%, 0.4 is 40%. If we continue this, 0.1 is 10%. So 0.1 as a percentage is 10%. If you want to do it by calculating, you times this decimal by 100, and you'll get 10%. The last question in this video is a table where we have political parties and the percentage of people that voted for each. The column for percentages is incomplete, and the one for frequency is empty. Frequency usually refers to how many, so the actual number of people, because a percentage on its own tells us nothing about how many people there actually are. You can say that 25% voted for a party, but how many is that? Well, if there were 100 people, then it would be 25 people. But if there's 200 people, then it would be 50 people. So the first thing that we do is complete this column here. Percentages have to add up to a total of 100% if all the categories have been accounted for. So we can add up 35 and 25 and 12, and we should get 72. So 25 plus 32 plus 12 is 72. And we subtract that from 100, and we get 100 take away 72 is 28. So 28% voted for the Libertarian Party. Now, to work out the actual number of people that voted in this election, we have to be given a number, either a total or some part of it. So we're told that a total of 8,000 people voted in the election. So we'll be working out 25% of 8,000, 35% of 8,000, 28%, and 12%. If you have any doubts about how to do this, we have another video about calculating percentages of amounts. 25%, the easiest way to do that is to turn it into a fraction. And there's some fractions worth remembering. 25% is a quarter. So we would do 8,000 divided by 4. And that means that 2,000 people voted for the Democratic Party. 35% should be more. So just keep in mind that your answers should make sense. 35% of 8,000 is 2,800. There's a couple of ways that you can do this, but for people that haven't seen that video, I'll give a quick explanation. We can take 35% and split it into 30% and 5%. We know that 10% of any number is that number divided by 10. So 10% of 8,000 is 800. Well, 10 times 3 is 30%. So we do 800 times 3, which is 2,400. We worked out that 10% was equal to 800. 5% is half of 10%. So 5% must be 400. 2,400 plus 400, that's 30% plus 5% is 2,800. Working out 28%, the answer that you should have gotten is 2,240. And 12%, you can work out 10%, assuming no calculator. 10%, again, is 800. 1% is 80. Therefore, 2% is 80 times 2, which is 160. And so 10% plus 2% should be 12%. 800 plus 160 is 960. And these numbers should add back up to a total of 8,000. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe, and we'll see you next time.